insanely close games. So I think that Immortals have what it takes here to bring this one back. And them starting on the attack too is actually going to be a plus for them here, because they are a solid attacking team on Bind. I'm not too worried about them here, but the action is going to continue to unfold now. Tens, the slow, calm shots of the Ghost is going to locate all those bullets onto Kohler. Oh, and while that was going on, Asuna said, hello, I'm going to be inside of the B site here. Look out, though. JC Stani is not aware that Shinobi is there looking at him, and the spike is down. But Asuna goes in for the challenge. Shinobi looking to win this one out here. Can do so with a clean shot, but does not get the kill. Now it's a 1v1. What a strange round that was, but Vice, a headshot classic from distance. And that again, you know what, man? These two teams is just weird.
But I think Cloud9 need that. They need to be a little bit weird to throw Immortals off guard here and to get them out of their comfort zone. I mean, previously I know I talk about pistol rounds and whatnot, but Cloud9, you saw on the statistics page there, they'd only won 25% of pistol rounds on this map coming into this, whereas it was a much higher percentage on the side of Immortals. So now, with the pistol victory, Cloud9 can work from this. They can start to get a little bit comfortable, ease themselves into this half. On the defensive side is usually a better situation to be in if you're not as well practiced on a map. But Immortals do look good attacking on Bind. So if Immortals can get a victory here in this round, then that would worry me.
Yeah, but they have guns. Cloud9 has some better weaponry to be able to execute with, and they'll be able to succeed doing just that. A few TPs now, as a matter of fact, and Mitch does get the kill on Gangsta. JC Stani now along. Oh, they're going to send two in the TP. They're just going to go for the full pincer. Oh, look at this pressure that they're pulling. Kohler, I mean, it was a valiant effort without a doubt, but in the end, they knew exactly where they were. They got there right at the same time, preventing them from being able to get out of showers. The moment that TP went through, man, it's just like the paranoia, the fear kind of set in, and they didn't have a choice. So Cloud9 go up by 2.
And I do love that Mitch often opts just to get the Ghost, just to keep the Ghost in the second round, and it means that he can buy up in the third with a Phantom and still have a little bit of money to work with if things go south here in this round. Now we're going to see whether the Immortals can take advantage of some slightly shoddy weaponry on the other side. I say shoddy, these SMGs can do some real damage in the right hands, but certainly they're going to have the advantage with all those rifles. There's going to be aggression here in showers, but Vice says it's not a shoddy SMG for me. He gets the opener with the Spectre.
Last time Cloud9 played this map, they lost the Sentinels 13-9. And in that game, mind you, Cloud9, they started on defense first. But they're already improving upon, and they're starting on defense, but against Sentinels, they ended up, it was actually the same thing that happened in that last game. They won 5 straight, and then they lost 5 straight.
Wow.
So something's up here.
Well, they're a player down, and they were edging towards B. They've made some noise to try and force a little bit of a rotate, try and send Cloud9 off of this scent here and make them think they were going towards A, and they are going to have just a couple of players on that B site to deal with. Here comes the smokes, and here comes the push, and actually there's 2 players stacked on elbow. Kohler does get taken down by Tens, and now JC Stani comes in, and he does have support, but they've been able to get this B site. Asuna finds Relics rotating through. Now it means it's just 1 player left, and it's just going to be Vice, and this is not going to be a comfortable retake.
And that play, the credit goes to Kohler there, because he was looking right at sight. He never looked away. He let his teammates handle whatever was going on the left and the right. His one objective was to make sure that if anyone popped out, they weren't going to play spoiler to that push. And it worked out. And Immortals will finally get that coveted round win that they were looking for this time around, and versus what we saw previously, right? It's not going to come later on. It's going to come right at the start. They get that round 3 victory.
Yeah, they needed that, but it's not the worst situation for Cloud9. You can see their money is still there or thereabouts. They can get a buy-in, they can get an op-in. Now, Relics is going to be having the op, as Vice is only going to have the Stinger to work with, but we saw he had a little bit of SMG ability in the showers, so I'm sure he'll look to get up close and personal yet again. Maybe can try and bait himself out for Relics on that op. That's why we're seeing both of them in showers at the moment, but it's going to be a heavy B push, and they are not going to be playing ball to that op, as there are going to be a couple of trades. Mitch gets one and Koller gets the second.
Pay attention to Asuna too. If Asuna does manage to get inside of Hookah here, but perhaps could go for the TP. So if Asuna gets into Hookah, Showstopper is activated, and Relics will be the one that will have to make the quick shot with that op. Shots are now starting to come through, and the sound cue did come in. So you heard the shot, and there goes the Showstopper. And here we go. Actually, he pops in, and Relics actually wins that, but the trade comes in. So he had that one lined up, nailed the shot exactly where he needed to. But as all that was going on, the one factor was the Brim ult. That was the thing that rattled everyone on the defense. Vice not able to do anything with the Stinger. And we're knotted up 2-2 here. But hey, Relics hit the shot. So did Asuna.
Fair play hitting the shot, escaping the orbital strike, and then just saying, you know what, screw it, you've got a Showstopper, I'm going to face you anyway. But orbital strike and Showstopper being used is kind of a double whammy. Like, you should win that round if you're going to be using both of those ultimates.
Correct.
Two of arguably the most powerful ultimates in the game. So now you're going to be without those ults for a few rounds now, unless these players kind of just go nuts and manage to get 4Ks, etc. But it does mean on the other side, we're going to have a Showstopper available, but the money is not going to be great for Cloud9 here. So this is going to be a tough round for them.
Oh. Relics is kind of trapped. All right, he held on to that line. I like you mentioned those two ults, and those were the ones that got some significant changes. I know it may not seem like a lot. Oh, I see you, Asuna. But adding a 7th orb to that, right? A 7th pip that you have to get really changes the impact of those ults as frequent as they were popping up before. I mean, people were getting orbital strikes like it was candy.
Yeah, I mean, if you plant that spike, die, and get a kill, then suddenly you've got 3 ultimate orbs already, as Koller gets the opener onto Vice. Hunter's Fury from Shinobi unfortunately doesn't find a kill. But the spike is going to be planted here on A. Of course, it is an eco round for Cloud9, so they have just sacrificed this site, and they're going to go for a retake, but it's not going to be easy when they've only got ghosts here, GB.
Oh, Gangsta needs to be careful. There was one more player there, and he's hearing the footsteps. Oh, the clanging and banging of Relics' Brimstone just left him wide open. Now, Tens has a Showstopper, but he won't be able to use it, and nor should he, given that they were saving. And there really wasn't much of a reason in that particular position for him to use that ultimate ability. Shinobi might try and get some exit frags, but the flawless round will go to Immortals, who have managed to pick up 3 rounds in a row.
Can we talk about how loud Brimstone really is when he starts stomping? Like, there is no way you can get behind a team if you are running. You have
just
to walk as a
thumping
Brimstone.
Chad, dude. Guys, just
so much thumping. You're completely right. We've seen 3 in a row now for Immortals, and I think the reason why we saw the Orbital Strike and the Showstopper come out on that round in particular, on the 4th round, was because it was such an important round. Like, the buy was somewhat weak on the side of Cloud9, and they knew that if they won that round, they had the easy follow-up of the eco afterwards. Now we get a buy again for Cloud9. We have seen a little bit of aggression here on this B long, but it looks like this time they're going to opt to stay back. Slow orbs being placed just either end of B long. It's a little bit like dodgeball at the moment.
I also like the smoke stall too. Ultimate's online once again. That Showstopper that Tens had. Oh, Kohler's going to get in there. He has no choice but to move. Does get the indication he's going to be there. Connects with 1 against Mitch. Looks for 2 and gets 2. Headshots for Kohler. And he was on the reload. Oh, no. Oh, Tens. He took out the classic. And then Tens gets 2 because he used the Showstopper right at the nick of time. Unfortunately for Shinobi, that just leaves him all by himself. And the attackers, Immortals, get another win here on the board.
I mean, what was that fight? I've just seen
That's you versus the gun at that point. That's
Tens wasn't really expecting the reload, I don't think. So I think he was maybe caught off guard about how much of an easy kill it was going to be. And then he still had time to get the pistol out. A stupid fight. And maybe he didn't need to pop the showstopper, if I'm completely honest. Like, once you've seen two of your teammates fall and a teammate fall elsewhere, that round is very unlikely to go in your favor.
But there were a lot of players grouped up there, though, Gaskin. So it could have turned around in an instant.
Exactly. If you'd been able to get a 2K there with it, with the splash damage, then fair enough. I can understand why, but in hindsight, I look at it, I'm like, maybe he could have saved it. Asuna gets an opener here on yet another eco round. There is a judge around that corner. Or is it just a stinger?
I think it's a stinger.
A stinger, but
well, it doesn't really matter.
Does the work.
All right, well, everyone just hard commits over to the A site now. Bjork's going to be there instantly. Laying out some of those cyber cages. Give him some vision. Block himself. Oh, man, Vice. Cheeky. Cheeky, but not cheeky enough. Brimstone, though, does drop Orbital Strike. Now Relics, unfortunately for him. It was... I know exactly what you're going to say. Yep. And I don't know why they would use the Orbital Strike there. It kind of wasn't necessary.
Exactly what I was going to say. I mean, I can understand it. You've seen two people pop up on your minimap and you're seething. You're there. You're frothing at the mouth as a Brimstone saying, yeah, I can get two with my Orbital Strike. But even if you get those two, you're still probably going to lose the round. Save the Orbital Strike. Use it in a more significant possibility of winning a round. That's just my opinion. I can understand why he's used it. As a Brimstone player myself, you do get tempted. But in the end, it just hasn't really worked out. And that's another powerful ultimate that hasn't gone their way. And then you look at the other side for Immortals. They've got 4 ults. Sorry, 3 now. As you see the Orbital Strike popped out as they're going to get aggressive. They're going to push, but Mitch gets... And the double op has worked out yet again here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Mitch just needed to yeet on out of there. Goodbye. I respect that play. Tens is now going to play that corner angle, which... They're not really going to expect him here. Had the smoke coverage, so was able to cross that. Made no noise on the slow orb, too. JC Stani will be caught completely off guard. 2 players here. Tens is hearing the sound effects. He knows exactly where they are. And even though gets 1 kill with that one, it was enough for Relics to sweep on in and secure it the next one. And they'll bring that up into the following round. They'll stop the bleeding here, Gaskin.
Yeah, they needed to. Otherwise, Immortals really could have run away with this game. And again, it was that double op setup. Just as soon as they had enough money to be able to do so, they are now going to make things more difficult for Immortals to push in. Immortals who are just opting to have the 5 rifles, no ops for them to work with. And we also saw the power of the right click on the Classic still. Even though there was a nerf, even though we had those changes, still jumping with the right click Classic is the way to go.
Camera taken out.
If you're not using it, maybe you should start using it, because it really can win you rounds when you least expect it.
So the Owl Drone caught Cypher, but that was going to be the only one revealed there. Tens gets an aggressive angle, and the kill to Spy Carrier will give them an indication as to what the plan potentially was going to be here. Tens, I mean, you psychopath. Tens! Oh, just go to Tens! Just go to Tens! Just stay on Tens! Oh my word! He's got himself so many. No, okay, I was about to say, like, it wouldn't have worked. It surely wouldn't have worked, but there you have it. Tens ends that round as fast as it started.
I mean, everyone else is just trying to play a game of serious Valorant, and he's there making montages, just blast packing his way into everyone's face right now. And I mean, it was the little bit of information that Relics was able to get, just peeking into showers, and he just said, hey, Tens, come over here. Just bring that up over here and do a little bit of damage. And Tens was like, yeah, okay, I got you, bro. And I mean, man, that is a different kind of style of opping, and that is what you can do as a Raze. Yes, okay, Jet has the dashing ability, but those satchels, they can really project you into places.
All right, well, now Ten's in heaven. Bringing this op all over the map, wherever he wants. Played aggressively, so they'll have to take that corner carefully. There goes the smoke now. Stall with that nade. to prevent some movement here. Trying to get up on top. That rocket will be good. Now a rival showstopper here. No one's going to be around. They're just going to back away. Nope, we are okay. I do not want to have to deal with that one. But it pushes everyone back. Oh no! Why? Why?
He thought he had the angle. He thought he'd be able to shoot into heaven there. I mean, I kind of wish he would have killed himself there because it would have been way funnier, but he's still alive.
Really? Because I find the fact that he's down to 46 HP to be even funnier.
He's just shot a rocket right.
He's kind of a wet noodle now at this point. He's just useless and gets shot in the face.
Oh, Vice gets the 3K to wrap the round up. And, well, Cloud9, they heard the showstopper and they all went, yep, everyone just back away. Just allow him to shoot himself with that rocket, and
yes,
then we'll push
He will
it.
fire in the hole, but apparently only to himself.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we see so many players actually, like, when you don't find anyone with that initial stage of the showstopper, they just put it away. They don't. Sometimes they just don't fire it. I understand what he wanted to do, but the angle just wasn't quite there. That rocket was a little bit bigger than he thought.
Yeah, that rocket's chunky. You know, you're sending this like this very oddly built, homemade rocket. It's gonna have some weird angles.
Right here.
Raises. She's a great builder, but she's not like, you know, it's not NASA here now.
I love these pushes from Tens though, with the op, and what he has to offer is the raises. Elsewhere, Hunter's Fury's come out, but Mitch has got the opener onto Collar, and again, the double op is showing us how powerful it can be, as Gangster does get a double tag there. So that'll be a little bit of information gathered, if nothing else.
Tens keeps on going for that jump up and immediate shot with the op, and it's worked out for him a few times. Oh no. Well, there's nothing else there. So either way, I mean, that would have been crazy if he landed that shot right through the wall, but it wasn't going to be. The shock dart will end that one. Now things start to slow down here. Relic's playing a common angle, but with 48 HP, he's on that ledge too. Relic doesn't swing for it. There's no reason for him to do so.
I mean, there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, and he might get one as soon as they go in for the push, because at this point now, well, they have TP, so they can change it up. Hey, but Relics is good for it. 40 HP, but you can rely on him to get something.
Sometimes people trust those Sova darts a little bit too much, but Gangster will get one. Bjor gets another, but here's Mitch to take down Gangster. Can he get the extra frag? No, he can't. Whips out to the Ghost to try and get a second. Needs help from his teammate, and there is Vice right on time to make this 6-5 now, as Cloud9 starting to put more and more on the board and getting closer to making this look like a 7-5 half, which I think they'll be somewhat happy with, especially after losing 5 on the bounce.
Yeah. This is two teams with very similar streaks, you know, hot and cold across the board, but they're giving us an entertaining matchup, that's for certain. Last round and a half here at Gaskin. Let's see what Immortals can do. Maybe they could just tie this one up.
What that shows us is that just these teams are more comfortable when their money is good, when they're able to comfortably buy and they're not having to force up with Bulldogs and Spectres and whatnot. Instead, when they've got the ops that they need, they've got the rifles they need, they're going to be able to perform in the way they expect to perform and execute how they want to execute. Whereas when you do kind of throw those Spectres in, you throw those Bulldogs in, it takes the confidence out of some of those pushes.
Ooh. Okay, well, that shock arrow actually just sends them back. They're going to just hightail it over to the corner. Orbital Strike is out now. Relics, even though does get a kill with his gun, doesn't really need it with the Orbital Strike. Will force back one. Gangsta working over here inside a long, and Gangsta somehow comes out on top there, making this one into a 2v2. A 6-6 going into the half would be great for Immortals, given how they had such a hot start in the midway through, and nice swing there for Gangsta. They both went at the same time. Now they're going to get the intel where Vice is going to be located. They play for each other and they benefit for their entire team. 6-6 now. We're going to switch sides.
That double swing was perfect from Long. You love to see that. Just both teammates communicating and saying, look, I trust in you. We both need to peak together. One of us could die here, but as long as the other gets the kill, that's all that matters. Turns out neither of them died, and then eventually won them around. And yeah, 6-6, I mean, I think that is probably where we saw this one going. These two teams are so closely contested. Even though Immortals should be a little bit more comfortable on bind, Cloud9 are just on point. Like, they're hitting their shots and they look very confident in their ability in 1v1s, and that's why they're winning rounds.
History has repeated itself. Cloud9 and Sentinels went 6-6 the time that they met. When it was time for Cloud9 to attack, 3 rounds was all they were able to get.
Yeah, certainly Immortals should be the more comfortable side when attacking, just with... They've had more practice on bind and been able to gel together as a unit a little bit better than C9 have. And that's one of those downsides of, like, not yet having that announced full roster, you know, like trying and testing out different players.
But they've been consistent with this lineup, though.
They
so
have.
I do want to kind of drift away from that, because this team, they swapped out, I think, Vice for Poach at the at T1, and then that was it. And since then, they've been playing together consistently and have had some decent results.
Well, another pistol round and another classic right click, but Collar gets the opener. Relics will respond, and here comes Vice to chime in with one of his own. And the spike is going to go down, and it's going to be a 3 versus 4 retake.
They'll have to slice through that wall too. They want to get over to that spike. JC Stani's really paranoid about what could be coming out through that shower. And his paranoia certainly paid off for Vice, but it was not unfounded. Austin is checking his corners, though, has his teammates has Bjor's back, and he has his in turn. Austin, though, what a great shot from him, and there you have it. I mean, just a big win there for C9 to keep this one going.
Well, both pistol rounds for Cloud9. I mean, this is unheard of for them. They were very flippy-flappy, flippy-floppy when it came to the group stages. Yeah, they were. Sometimes they'd win the attacking pistol round, but then they suddenly lose the defending pistol round. They couldn't really show any consistency. Whereas for the first time in quite some time, they have shown now that these pistol rounds could be imperative to their potential victory, which would send them through to the semi-finals with a matchup against Homeless. And I've got to be honest, if I'm these two teams, I'm saying, hey, we've got a real chance at getting to the final here. No offense to Homeless, but in terms of whether you'd like to, on paper, face Homeless or T1, of course you'd rather face Homeless.
You know, man, after that game, I don't know. I actually don't know. I think Homeless is looking really scary, and both of these teams, they'll have to deal with a squad that executes brilliantly, and just such an odd situation there. Both players were going to be stuck inside of Hookah. They really had no choice. They were just playing around with one another, having each other's back, because they are on pistols here. No real choice for them. 1 HP for Asuna. They know that one player is actually hightailed it out of there. So perhaps that actually could be great here, because if they get another kill, yeah, they get some exit frags. Gangsta's just going to commit to this. One player got caught on the tripwire. Oh, ooh, 24 HP. Get as much as you can, right? Get some kills.
The weird thing about getting exit frags on this round is, yes, okay, you do damage to their economy, but sometimes it means that they'll force up and they'll buy an actual rifle, which then means that third round is going to be harder. And if you lose that third round, suddenly you're not going to have money going into the fourth round. It's a really weird economy in Valorant for these initial 3 rounds. Like, it still blows my mind, but you can see it is going to be, of course, plenty of rifles available on the side of Immortals. They are going to opt to go for an op as well. And then on the other side, oh, Mitch, he's gone for the big boy. And that's the advantage of him just going for ghosts in that second round. He doesn't usually buy an SMG. Instead, he just buys up very, very low, or will carry on the pistol from the previous round. Now he can try and do some damage with the op on the attacking side.
And if Immortals have done their homework, then they know Gangsta. Well, he'll also have the big boy gun too. Man advantage now for Immortals. Pens is going to get smoked out here in the cubby, but still gets a kill.
I mean, that's just knowing the game and knowing the spots where people are going to be sitting in to op or try and get a rifle frag. And you hate to see it. And when you're on the receiving end of it, you're like, you should be doing smoke. But at this level,
with the bulldog,
people just know where you're going to be, man. Like, smokes can't save you.
How much these players have been putting in the time, really just around the world with the Ignition series. So many great worldwide competitions have been taking place. Of course, here in North America, we've had some very exciting matches, and the events have been plentiful. That's without a doubt. C9 will march their way onto the site. They do get on there, but Bjor locates 2 kills, not before being taken out there by Tens. Tens has to get that spike and bring this one back in. It's Relics, though, who manages to bring this one back. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have a lot of time remaining. He was maybe hoping that someone was going to poke that when he went for that fake plant. It didn't work out. And Immortals will get a win, bringing them within 1 of C9, who have had a great start in this half on the attack.
Now for C9, their economy's back down, and they're going to have to eco here. Unless they want to try and force and match the economy on Immortals, because it's just going to be the 1 SMG on Asuna. Bjor, I don't think is going to have too much to work with. He's going to have the Bulldog, but it looks like no, they're going to play this one safe. Just Tens on the Judge. All right, Tens, I see. I want to see what you got to have to offer here. You got your blast packs available if you want to get up in someone's face.
And we haven't seen a lot of Judge play from Tens. He was doing this all over the place in the Pulse Invitational. I feel like everyone was playing the Judge at that event.
Man, it's not like the Judges had a nerf. Like, I mean, it's still so strong. Maybe players are just a little bit more wise to it and are playing a little bit more cautious and not playing as close to walls and letting those angles be closed down so quickly by Judge players. You're right, we haven't seen as much of it.
Slow round here, obviously. They're just looking to pull as much info on short C9 as they can. Maybe bait Gangsta into a shot. But they will block off Gangsta's point of view here in a few moments. I would be shocked if that was the case. And Tens actually gets on through. Kohler kills Vice as he comes out of the shower area. And now Tens is going to be inside of Lamps with the Judge. They get the short plant. They got this thing locked down, and Tens has the flank covered. But the problem is the guns are just a little bit stronger for Immortals.
And they would have seen him pushing into Lamps as well, so I don't think they will try and go the short way. Instead, they go the long route round. The orbital strike will be there for Relics. He's not going to be able to get into a position to get a post-plant molly, though, so I don't think this is going to be a victory, but he can do a little bit of damage to the economy. I mean, there is possibilities for so much post-plant Molotovs from Brimstone, and we don't see too much of them at this level. And I think the reason why is to get Brimstone in those positions where those post-plants are lined up, and you see the YouTube videos and whatnot. I mean, I've been researching them myself. You have to get off-site and just bait out your entire team. And at this level, your entire team are going to be very angry at you if you do that, because then you might find yourself left in a 1 versus 4. And that Molotov is not going to work out against 4 people who quite rightly can kind of pop themselves, do it halfway, and then the other person comes in after that person dies. So there's all these different things you have to consider at a top level.
Revealing area.
Gangsta now with that aggro play inside of the shower. Got a recon, but would have found it. Oh, no, and there it is. The rocket is going to connect onto Gangsta. Kohler, though, he's been so effective for Immortals. And I kind of cast a curse in him there, but hey, he's been getting a lot of kills. Has been helping out this team. Plant is down. And that wall to just block off the mid swing that can happen from that truck, which will give Cloud9 more space to work around with now. The push starting to come on in here. They need to play around with one another and just frag for each other. Damage is done, though. Asuna, although he dies, Bjor's there. Neural Theft activated. Can they get a kill in time? JC Stani, he's had a bit of a struggle of a game thus far, but maybe this could be his time to just step it up here.
There's that
Hopeful that
post-plant
Bjorn was
molly.
going to do it. Yeah, the post-plant molly, but it was just a little bit to the right there and gave him enough space to work with. Either way, that actually worked beautifully because that left JC Stani with no options to tuck away further inside of the site there.
And that can be the beauty of the post-plant mollies from Brimstone is if you do them a little bit earlier, okay, it's not going to be that kind of clutch situation that wins you a 1 versus 2 when you're dead, but it can force them off the plant, and that means those players who are still on the site get an easier peek and don't have to worry about forcing an aggressive angle and peeking too wide because you know no one's going to be on that defuse. As you say, it was a little bit skew-if in that situation, so was able to just tap it ever so slightly as Relix gets the opener. Bjorn gets one of his own, but here comes the rest of the boys. They've got rifles and they're going to march their way onto site and make this 10-8 as Cloud9 now only a few rounds away from taking this series.
Minimal options for Immortals. They were saving up. Now they'll buy up some weaponry. And we're getting oh so close to finding out whether or not, like, you know, look, I think Immortals can certainly bring this one back. But Cloud9 have been playing with that same kind of confidence that they brought in Ascent. They brought it here on Bind.
Their shots on, they're pushing together, they're communicating well. You can tell by how they're refacing things, how they're rotating at the right times. And chemistry is just everything at the moment. You can see here it's going to be a somewhat aggressive stance as here comes. Oh, he's somehow survived and Tens gets the kill. Won't be able to get the double, but at least Shinobi's there to get the trade.
And you're okay with that.
Not doing anything.
Yeah, you're okay with that. For Cloud9, that is awesome. Hey, man, you just burned Showstopper. We got 2 frags. That puts us one step closer to winning this series. Yeah, things are looking good for Cloud9.
4 versus 3. 2 of those players are still in showers, whereas the majority of the team have rotated over towards B. So JC Stani will hear a couple of footsteps here, but here comes Hunter's Fury just to try and get in that information to see if anyone is in lamps. But now a countered Hunter's Fury comes out, and JC Stani does his job on site, but it is still going to be a 2 versus 3. Gangster did a little bit of work with the Hunter's Fury. This is going to be a tough retake.
Relix is going to be very weak, but does have Orbital Strike. Vice is waiting on short. Kohler has had his shot be like outstanding today. Whether or not that'll be the case on short, though, we'll see. He's checking all the angles, all the corners, seeing if anyone's going to be coming around the flank. Maybe they've decided we can't push this one effectively. Let's just save our weaponry, count our blessings, and go into this next round and hopefully keep them away from getting match point.
Yeah, Gangster just kind of hovering around, seeing if any kills were going to be picked up by his teammate, but that op is so important to save at this point. I mean, we've seen how ops can win rounds on a defensive side, right? If you get that opening frag, you get that first pick, it puts you in such a commanding position. But now it's going to be a question of whether Immortals force up around this. It does look like that is going to be the case. At least they've got 3 rifles, just the 1 Bulldog for Bjork. We've already seen he can do some damage with that in previous rounds today. But lose this, and I think this might be game.
Yeah, because the Force here, their only choice in the next round will just be to eco. So you're putting all your chips on the table here. Oh, man, if Ten's got away from that, that would have just hurt them so much. Kohler was going to be cut off from the wall there. Mitch, 2 kills, and he brings back Tens. That's going to bring this one back into a 3v3. JC Stani in the corner. He bolts on out of there inside of the lamps. The A site belongs to C9. And on the flank is Asuna, who needs to get there faster. JC Stani's very weak, though. Has to use the health. The heal orb. Oh. And Tens heard Asuna, and Asuna just was checking corners with the satchels. And Tens' shot is absurd. JC Stani needs to make a play. It'll be an incredible one if he's able to do so. Only 10 bullets left. Does get tagged, and he's going to swing for this one. 10 HP, and now it's match point, series point. Cloud9, Vice giving them the business. This could very well be it, Gaskin, and what a start it was for Cloud9. Out of the gate, 10's getting that frag, and then the follow-up, man. Just Asuna had no idea what hit him.
And I'm going to revisit a question that Moses asked you. He said, hey, Mitch, 100% pick rate on Sage. Is he a one-trick pony? Well, if this is the one trick this pony is going to perform, then get him in my stable. I will have him every day of the week, because some of the things he is doing round after round, he's clutching up. He's doing things that Sages don't often do. He's getting aggressive. He's forcing his team. He's just being that confident player who will push in and everyone's following him up. He got 2 big frags there, got the res onto 10s, and that won them the round. And now they are so close to the semifinals here.
It's part of the reason why 10s was a great Sage himself, because he did things that other Sage players just normally won't do. Play aggressive. Vice with the opening pick on JC Stani. That is most certainly going to sting here. But Asuna on the flank. Asuna on the flank and gets 2 kills. Mitch knows keeping this game in their favor. He's looking to end this one. They're so close. 12-8, but Kohler, another kill, is going to give him the advantage. 10 on the high ground. Oh my goodness. He gets the kill through the smoke with the classic. And now it just leaves it up to Kohler. He has been amazing this entire time. Gets 1 kill onto 10s. This is it. It all comes down to the final moments. Kohler saw exactly where he was, and he's gonna play for it. He's gonna play for the orbital strike, but Relics, with all the confidence in the world, is gonna secure the victory for Cloud9. They're moving on in this competition.
That means we get Cloud9 versus Homeless, and that is not the semi-final that people would have been predicting after how Immortals performed on day 1, after how T1 have performed in general. But Jesus Christ, I mean, what a game that is, and the stuff we've seen. I mean, I know that Mitch is lower down on the scoreboard, but I want to give him a shout